Alright, welcome to a very quick Let's Try. This is iRacing Arcade. I don't know, I might have played the VR version of iRacing. I'm not sure, maybe not, but I have pretty much no knowledge of this game whatsoever, or this series. More like this is nothing like iRacing. The name should give that away, arcade. Right, but I wanted to check this one out because I do like arcade games. So, this is the demo. It is planned to be released in December here, 2nd of December 2025. We have no price yet. Let's see, description is race across global license series and build your own racing team to secure your motorsport legacy in the third-person arcade racer. Third person. So no cockpit view or something like that, it looks like. Racing, driving, arcade, automobile, sim 3D. Alright. Let me close that one down. And let me... that's fine. So when you start this game, this demo, I must say, you are just greeted, pretty much greeted here with this kind of setting here, and you can only choose drive or your difficulty. This is the default difficulty. You can wishlist this there, and you can quit the desktop. You can see that this game is running at 120 frames here. I'm gonna be running this demo on an RTX 5070 GPU and a Ryzen 9600X CPU, and with 32 gigs of DDR5 memory. You can see all of the performance there in the top bar. It is built-in Steam overlay, so you can check out exactly what all of those numbers mean. I've run through this demo because this is a very short demo. But first we have to start the kind of drive. You can skip this intro scene here, right? And then you can go to the settings, and you have resolution, you have refresh rate, goes all the way up to unlimited or 120. Resolutions are 16:9, I believe. Oh, right, yep. Oh, you have ultra widescreen. If you like that, super ultra widescreen, that's nice. I'm gonna be running this in. Move this window. These settings apply immediately, and it centered my little window there. All right. You have window. You have ball full screen. You have. You can see in real time the graphics changing a little bit in the background, mostly the shadows. Very little difference here. Everything is on the high settings. There we go. Lightning. Very little difference between low, off, and low. And then I can't really tell a difference between low and high. Bloom if you like that. We can keep bloom on. I don't really like it, but volumetric fog adds a little bit of a foggy gray tint there. Might be nicer without it. Light scattering. Can't tell any difference here. Haze. Okay. Some kind of fog also there. Screen space reflections. Don't think we can see any here. Alright, tire marks. Very little settings here. We are missing any kind of upscaling, any form of like FSR, DLSS, XESS, DLSS, you know, all of those are missing. DLAA missing, frame generation missing, which is a shame. The graphic is crisp, simple, is good for upscaling and frame generation. Audio settings, all good here. Extra, change language. No idea if this is text only or if it's gonna be speaking. Right. There is no way for you to tweak the controls or even to know what the controls are. You just have to press buttons to find out what they do. So, gas and brake is... let me turn down the... yeah, why not? So gas and brake is right and left trigger. Steering is going to be... steering is your left stick. Okay, you can change the camera with the right stick. Pressing A button does nothing. X button engages the clutch. So X is the clutch button. Y is reposition yourself. B button does nothing, or I don't know. Pressing the D-pad doesn't seem to do anything. Pressing left button, will toggle this HUD on the left. And pressing the right doesn't seem to do shit. Right, now we know what the buttons do. Now we can race. Pretty much steer, brake and gas. You have analog gas and brake. I don't really think you need it. You probably could just use digital. It is an arcade racing, so let me swap. Alright, pressing the right stick click will make a quick look behind you. If you don't want to use the right stick, just change the camera. The right stick click is just a quick 180 behind back camera there. Left stick click doesn't seem to do anything. This is not good for demo, right, or game or anything. You need remapping, and you need at least to know what the beep the buttons are doing. This is so bad, right? I'm just having to play the game and press every single button to see if something happens. Right, so in this demo you have a practice run. I've turned off analog triggers on my 8-bit Ultimate 2 wireless. I'm using digital here. Oh. And there is no restart. The only thing you can do is quit to main menu. So let's do that. Let's go for a real drive. Now when we know what the buttons are doing. So we have gas, we have brake, right stick is camera, X is just clutch. There's no manual shifting or anything like that. Right stick click is look behind, left button toggles, all the players, or only a smaller HUD of the players. I think that's all the buttons, right? Steering on the left. Alright, let's see what's happening. We have digital, gas and brake now. So again, I don't really think that we're gonna be needing. I don't think we're gonna be needing analog gas and brake. So in the practice round, you can pass through your opponents like this. It is definitely quite difficult already on just the kind of default difficulty settings here. Decent audio quality, we don't have any music options, anything like that. Very arcade. I really like the graphic. I think it feels good, the driving here. Not sure about the difficulty. I'm not 100% sure about how the difficulty feels here, but the driving feels arcadey and feels great. I'm not sure having iRacing is a positive thing, because iRacing is heavy sim racing game, and this is heavy arcade racing game. I think this would have been an amazingly fun game if you add, a cockpit view and tweak the settings and just this is all I want from this game. More of this. I don't want to be tweaking my car, changing tires and stuff like that bullshit. This is a great arcade racing game. Unfortunately, this is so bare-boned, this demo, so I have no idea how they are gonna branch it out. And the descriptions tells you that you're going to be managing your own, like, racing company or what they call it. And I think that is stupid. Because this is pure good fun arcade racing, and it could really just benefited from just being that instead of having the iRacing name, which is heavy sim-based focus, and trying to in a very solid arcade racing Steam game, adding this management thing seems like it is stupid, right? Because if you're arcade racing, you don't want to manage like a lot of things. You might want to do some basic tire tweaking or engine tweaking, like some basic, but you don't generally, you're not gonna want to like a full-on sim racing with like too much fiddling around. You just want, this is what you want with an arcade, just solid racing, learning maps, getting some good racing line-ins. I'm using again digital gas and brake. It's amazing, it's fun, but I'm definitely very much on the fence for the full game, and I'm not sure it's gonna be, you know, the right choices. And the naming is going to be very weird for people that know what the iRacing name stands for. You know, in the kind of sim race thing community. You have this little faint, you can see on the track, this faint kind of like tire tracks that kind of gives you a hint of what kind of what type of racing line you want. This is great, right? This is all I wanted. Me, I would have loved this. If you're a hardcore iRacing, you might probably not gonna want this, but I love this. I want more of this. I miss a game like this. Pure, just badass arcade racing fun. I would have loved to have been able to change to like a cockpit view or something. No, I would have liked to be able to have a handbrake that could maybe, you know, do some tighter just turns. I don't know why we have... Again, this is a weird choice. You can engage the clutch, and I know that for sim racing, and for real racing, that is something that you can use. You can use that for tighter cornering, right, to keep kind of like the engine momentum or whatever going. But in a game like this, having engaging clutch probably is not the best thing. But having an e-brake so you can kind of like get your car to tight turn or into like kind of like a drift, small drift thing. You don't need to go heavy on the drift or anything like that. That would probably have been more fun. But this is very short. I'm just throwing this one out here. Let's just go through this again. Again, we have gas, brake, camera, and steering. Super short demo. I wish we could have gotten more, and again, I really would have liked the demo to showcase like what type of management thing and tweaking is it going to be. Alright, so it looks like the more laps that are being done, the more like tire tracks are left. The performance seems really solid, even without, you know, the DLSS upscaling and stuff like that, but would have definitely liked that anyway. But if you are an arcade racer, or, you know, you just enjoy arcade racer You might also like sim racing, but if you really are interested in arcade racing here, this is a very solid arcade racing game. You know, like, damn, they have the formula down with how the car feels. Maybe the sound could have some tweaking, but the general just driving the track here is fun. Maybe, you know, hopefully, again, go more crazy with the arcade here. You know, more uphill, downhill, weird, like maybe like a little bit of like a wall turning and stuff like that. It would have been top down. But I'm afraid that they're gonna toss in a little bit too much management and tweaking stuff that just might not, it's not going to appeal to me and might not appeal to people that just want good solid arcade racing, right? I'm sure that, you know, you can, I feel that you could probably, you know, benefit maybe a tiny bit from having analog triggers here if you really like master that. I don't think it's gonna make a big difference, but it could make a tiny difference. Like here, I'm tapping gas there to just get a little bit like more better cornering, but with analog instead of digital here that I'm using, you could probably get a bit of a smoother line there, which is good. Again, I could just swap over. Oh, there we go. Right, now we have analog triggers going again. See if I can... Let's see if I can get something. Yeah, maybe it's a tiny bit smoother there. I don't think I'm really doing better with analog triggers, but it's a nice option here. For braking though, I'm probably not going to need it. Come on, that's not nice. Yeah, I'm just doing worse with the analog triggers, trying to figure that one out. Why is there no restart in this demo? But yeah, you can probably get a little bit like tiny better with analog triggers there in some of these cornering. But it's going to make very little difference. Maybe a bit faster in that cornering. But it is such a minor thing with the analog triggers that I would just be using digital for gas and brake. What? Let's see if we can try one more with just... There we go. I want to give this one more go with analog triggers here for analog gas and braking. I could use braking to be... Yeah, I could have used braking, I guess, as a digital one. There we go. Braking is digital. And I have analog gas. Definitely do really like the 8-bit those like triggers here, and the ability to swap, you know, from digital to analog. Definitely, you know, I can definitely get a little bit of a better smooth racing line here with analog gas. And then the digital for braking here, I think that works perfect for me. I don't think I'm gonna need analog braking. At least not on this track. Maybe I'm doing a little bit better here. Do-do-do. Again, it would be nice if we had like... if I could see my time saved or something. Like, this demo is way too bare bone. Way too bare bone. We needed definitely like 3 tracks. Something to see what kind of management, tweaking stuff is gonna be in it. Having like a proper like time trial mode so you can just get the best lap time and saved. I think it would be nice also as a choice. No, this is very arcadey, right? It would be definitely... I hope the full game is gonna offer you that. The offer to use the D-pad for steering. Because right now you can only use the analog stick. Don't know why we have like look to the left and right for the camera, but hey, yes, that's quality of life thing. So yeah, some little fun stuff. But yeah, all right, that's it. iRacing Arcade, right? What's the name? Let me see if we go back here to the title. Yeah, iRacing Arcade. Driving is super solid, amazingly fun, and the graphic is charming and vibrant and looks good. The sound of the engine, the car is fine, but it, you know, would be nice with some kind of music options and maybe some ambience or whatever, something, right? Sound wise is all right, and obviously the full game gotta have more settings for controller remapping and options. And you know, there's going to be people that might want to have manual gear shifting and, you know, cockpit view, support for like wheels and stuff like that. It's and you know, you need to tweak a lot more settings for the graphics, for the controls, for just gameplay. And again, I'm not sure it was the best thing to have iRacing in the name, because iRacing is heavy, heavy associated with sim racing. Like, I'm not a sim racer, but I know this name, right? And this again is great as an arcade racing. But if they go into tossing too much tweaking, too much management of your, you know, your racing team, that is going to be, for me at least, a huge bad thing, right? Because this is the thing. This is what grabs me. This is what the demo is showcasing me. A badass arcade that I love. I actually really, really enjoy this, but I'm afraid there's gonna be too much fluff. And I wish that the demo would have showcased a little bit of what that kind of management stuff or tweaking is going to be. So I might keep an eye on this, but I'm definitely gonna wait for a review or someone to play it to show me, okay, like, what type of management is there? How much is this just pure get into the game, good solid fun arcade racing? And again, I think it's a bit for an arcade racing, right? You have that you can engage the clutch, which is more of a sim racing thing. But you don't have, what I could tell at least, you don't have a handbrake, which is more of an arcade thing. It's all also, you know, in sim racing that you can, you know, use that e-brake or handbrake, you know, to tighter turns. And that would have definitely been something that, just for the arcade feeling here, right? In the super tight turn, to, you know, to get that handbrake, toss that rear end out, would have been a fun little arcade feel here. Maybe even, you know, that you could maybe have a slight drift. You don't need to go overboard, but a little bit of, you know, sideways drift maybe even added. That would have been like the cherry on top. This is still super fun, but that is just missing little bit oomph. And again, I just think it's a bit frustrating, right? Because you have no idea from this, well, how, if they're gonna lean more into sim or more into arcade. Because this, again, I would have liked more just arcade stuff, more uphill, downhill slope, like maybe curves that goes a little bit, you know, sideways, stuff like that. You don't need to have like loops or jumps, crazy jumps, but a little bit more crazy things. You know, racing in tracks that are, again, we have no idea if this is going to be like racetracks on like tarmac, or if it's going to be like racetrack through gravel and dirt and through the woods, or, you know, up hills and stuff like that. But hopefully we get more like that. Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on this, and we'll see. And you can hopefully try this at least up until, you know, December here, right? Depending on when I'm posting this video, the demo might or might not be available, unfortunately. And yeah, the only thing that really is to say that the demo here is super fun, good arcade racing. They could be better, but it is nothing like a sim racing in this demo. Zero. So if you came here because you saw iRacing and you like the sim, you are gonna get disappointed probably from this. Maybe there is management stuff again, but yeah, again, this name could be bad for this game. It could, maybe it could potentially be positive, because it is a big brand name, but again, it will also cause a lot of negative reviews. So yeah, try this out. Maybe I'm gonna keep an eye on this myself because I loved the feeling of it. Feel free to leave a like, a comment, follow, check back to the channel if you don't want to miss me trying games and stuff like that. That's gonna be it for today. So thank you for watching. Have a great day, and bye for this time.